don't think I should bring a computer show because you're doing well because I'm having a wonderful day. With 3rd September 2025. My apologies. We just woke up. It's early morning, it's sunrise. It's sunrise, so very, very early morning, but I wanted to make some videos. The first video that I'm gonna do today, I know I'm supposed to do only Prison Break today because I have to do the whole show. Well, not the whole show, but the whole fourth season. I'll be doing that in a couple minutes. But before that, you can see that we're still tired. We're not looking good. We're tired. And you're like, why are you up in Q? Why are you up? Well, it's been a while since we haven't woken up for the sunrise, right? It's been like a couple of weeks, 2 weeks, a month. Waking up for the sunrise was the hardest thing. It's one of the hardest thing for reals. Is the worst hours, because when I start waking up for the sunrise, it's the best. There's nothing that compares to it. This is my favorite time to film, you know. The sunrise is my favorite time to film over the sunset, right? And lately we've just been too tired because we're working so much, right? And it's a good thing because you're working a lot, but it's also a bad thing because you don't do what you feel is necessary to work. Waking up early like this, early, or as they say, early bird gets the worm. Oh, I'm getting the worm, baby. But more seriously, it's the hardest thing to do. You know, I did a video last week. I think I'm talking about how I felt like I didn't really work this year. I felt like I didn't make enough this year. Content, you know, not money, content. And I was asking myself, why we feel that way. Is that true? Is it just that we're rough with ourselves? It's just that we believe we could have done more, right? And I think the reality is the devil in the details. The devil in the details, right? Well, for example, last year, I would wake up for every single sunrise. And I would be able to look outside, right? And be like, oh, well, today is worth filming. And, oh, well, it's not really nice, so I'm not going to film today. You know, completely different mentality, same situation, right? And there's just the discipline behind it. It's a lot of discipline. You know, well, I think it's rough because there's a reason why mankind wake up so early. There's a reason why school starts so early, work starts so early, right? I think it's possibly our most energetic time or more productive time. Most productive time, yeah. Yeah. And it's weird because it could simply be a third of the day. So a normal day of work is 8 hours. 8 hours, right? Now, that's important because the 8 hours is 1/3. The second 8 hours is with friend and family, and the last 8 hours is sleeping. So there's a possibility that that's the whole reason as to why you're getting up so early. But I think it's more productive, right? And it's so beautiful because literally wanting to be waking up every single morning. See, yesterday I wasn't that tired, but I kind of forced myself to go to sleep because what I used to do that was the most phenomenal is I would wake up by even Ronnie. I watched a YouTube short yesterday. I think subconsciously that's why it happened. I watched a short, a YouTube short when it was Ronnie Coleman, which is a person I respect a lot. I love Ronnie. And Ronnie Coleman was saying like, well, I used to do 2 sets of 3 hours for sleeping, right? And I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And even us, when we started the last work we had, we're doing 4 sets of 4 hours. It was the best sleep I've ever had. I wanted to restart that because it was so good. I turned and turned and turned and turned and turned and turned. And like, of course, I choose to do the day where I need to work the most, which is today. And at the same time, you had some results there, right? So discipline wise, it's good. I feel like last year we had more discipline, and when I asked myself, did you work enough this year? I feel like last year I was hungry, was starving. I was starving to become something. I was starving to become popular. I was starving to make this a job. But this year I'm like, you know what? You have a good community. You have good people. And you don't need the whole Shazam, right? You have what you have, and that's enough. You have what you have, and it's more enough, right? So it's just a wonderful thing that. My apologies. It's just a wonderful thing that we are able to decide. I was hungry. I'm not hungry, right? And the decide I was hungry and I'm not hungry now is important because this is discipline, right? To me, how much and this I'm my own boss. So this amount of self-discipline, you're asking yourself, hey, are you too authoritative with yourself? Are you too disciplinary with yourself? Or this is the right thing that you do? I'm the kind of guy that you need to push, you need to push, you need to push. But when I'm gone, when I'm going. But you need to push me to get there, which I know that's life. But and it's just a question of. To me, this was insane last year. The amount of, and I missed that. So this has been. I don't even know how I did it last year. Last year was insane. Waking up to see the moon, waking up to see the sunrise, making sure that you got that sunrise, waking up early enough, going to bed, waking up early enough to do a stream, then to go live and to do videos. It was nuts, but at the same time, I felt a piece of it, right? Now, lately, we also have felt a piece, but that piece is simply the fact that, oh well, guess what? We did this, that's good. No, yes, that's yesterday. We had a shift at work yesterday, right? And I came back home at 5 o'clock, and I was like, oh my god, I have prison break to finish today. Well, yes, tomorrow, which is today, but we do have to finish it today. And I was like, holy crap, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And in my book, I was like, well, it's 5:30. I can stay until 9:30 because then I got my battles. And at 9:30, I was like, oh well, we'll have to go after that. And then what happened is I managed to do the best possible scenario. The best possible scenario being, well, you know that you did pretty well because you did A, B, and C. And But then at 8:30, the battle started. I was like, oh, I have to go. And I was like, well, we did 3 hours, and for some reason it was enough, right? The 3 hours is super good. But the 8 hours of work we did. And I feel like this is what we're filming at sunrise. It's insane because I know exactly where the sun is gonna rise. So if I push the camera exactly where it's supposed to be, you have a prime seat for it. I don't know. I feel like there's a lack of boundaries, but it's self-imposed boundaries. It's self-imposed, like, oh well, this is enough and this is not enough. There's also the reality that in our tired state we don't make as good content as when we're not tired, you know? But then this reality that's like, oh well, you have to deal with that. Right. Okay. There you go. Perfect. My little desk. I got my computer. Are you really productive? And that's also the question. If I'm so tired, am I really productive? But last year I was able to do it because I was able to do it every single day. So your body clock is like, okay, well, this is time to go to sleep. This is time to wake up. Even if you're still tired, your body's like, okay, you know. And I miss that. I miss that discipline. That discipline. I didn't. Last year we went crazy because we did so much work, but I didn't have to question myself. Hey, did I do enough? Because I'm like, bro, I can do more, you know? But then there's a reality that comes with that. Too much is too much. And I feel like I'm one of those people that there's either too much or not enough, you know? There's also the possibility that we believe that the best possible time to make video in the day is sunrise, which is only half true. Give me sunrise and give me sunset and I'm happy, you know? So because we believe that this is the best time to make content, we absolutely want to do it that time. And if we don't do it well, I'm like, oh wow, what a missed opportunity. You know? It's like this salesman. You say, oh, you make me miss my cell. Okay, but that's not true. You make me miss my cell. Oh my god, we talked about this with my dad. What was it? 2 days ago. He was talking about one of our common. I was gonna say friend of the family. Yeah, sure. And this person is retired. They like to gamble in bingos. Yeah, bingo. And she's getting mad at people because they're stopping her and saying, hey, the machine is hot. Or the salesman that said, hey, you make me miss my cell. You haven't sold anything until the customer sign and say, hey, you make that sell. You didn't make that sell. You didn't do anything. You know, the machine is not hot. The machine won't be giving you more chances to win, and that's the way it is. The content's not better during the morning. See, the whole purpose is you see the behind, right? You see the behind, so you see the background, the landscape. I don't see it. If I'm lucky, I'm gonna see it because it's gonna show up, right? But if most of the time I don't see it, like this is the camera focusing. There you go. There's no points, right? And then I got a second camera that is filming the nature group, and that's beautiful. So I've missed this. I've missed being able to wake up my body. It depends. There's early bird and there's night owl. I have to do things differently, so I'm a night owl that goes to bed so late. And it's freaking early morning when I go to bed. You know? I miss those times. And I'm gonna tell you, when does my love for sunrise happen? My love for sunrise, right? Okay, so as a kid, cool. Okay, cool. As a kid, I had a love for moon because of Majora's Mask. Plain and simple. If you know the game, you know what I'm talking about. And I've been obsessed with the moon. I was like, oh my god, this moon is so nice. And then sunrise became something. Now, I was always sleeping during sunrise because I don't look like it, but I love sleeping. Like, when I sleep, I sleep. Don't wake me up, you know? And then, my love for sunrise, I think going to work, right, in the morning with sunrise was phenomenal. But my first big job that I had, didn't get to see the sunrise. I think what happened is when I had my depression, when I was 22 years old, right? You remember that when I told you that I have agoraphobia, and I couldn't go out, I couldn't talk to people. So what I would do, true story, I would go at 2 in the morning. I would go to, you guys know, next to my house there's like a school. I would go to that school, and that school had Wi-Fi. And I would download, and I would download, and I would download, and I would download. And the only way I could do it was to go extremely late. There was nobody. There's a time I remember the cops told me, "Hey, are you okay? Because you're out loud. You're out late." Yeah, I forgot my keys outside. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna wait until people wake up, and I'm gonna go back to my house. Okay, no problem. And what I would do is, when the sun was rising, I would go back home because I get, oh my god, people are coming. I'm gonna start coming in, talking to me, you know. So the sunrise was my cue to go home. And I was still watching the sunrise, and you sort of appreciate it. Like, imagine you had this and you have a cup of coffee. It's the best we traded coffee for energy drinks, but it's still the same principle. It's still the same principle, you know. And that principle is it's hard. Because if you enjoy a cup of coffee and the sunrise or a energy drink, it's not better because of the sunrise. But one of the two elements that you're doing is better. I miss that discipline. And your body, there's tons of things that your body will associate with discipline. Oh, you did this is very good. Oh, you did that, this is very good. You know? And in the end, what is really what, you don't know. What is really who, you don't know. You just think that you know, right? But at the same time, this is important because if you think that something is more benefic, the fact that you're doing it, placebo effect, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, this is more benefic, so I should do it more. But there's no difference. There's no difference, there's just a perceived difference. And this is where most people get confused at the same time. I put it like this, right? I put it like this. A doctor, you come to a doctor and you're a hypochondriac, right? So you're afraid of every single sickness. You go to a doctor. You say, oh, doctor, I don't know what's going on with me. I don't feel good. And he asks you, what's your symptoms? Like, I swear, I don't really know what's going on. And you feel sick. Yeah, I feel very sick, doctor. I feel very sick, doctor. And I'm like, and the doctor says, okay, well, here's some pills that's gonna make you feel better. And then you realize that the pills are vitamins, right? But you feel better because you believe that those pills were supposed to help you. So your brain helped you help yourself. Are you really mad at the doctor because you feel better, right? He lied to you, but you feel better. You know, Plato came out. Plato was one of the greatest minds alive, but one of the very first early philosophers. I'm sorry, I'm watching this because we're gonna die soon. So, we're gonna die soon. Nice thing, nice people are gonna be worried. Take this out of context. Plato came up with something called the noble lie, and he came up with something called the noble lie, which was it's okay to lie if you don't hurt anybody, and it's okay to lie if you benefit, if you benefit, if it benefits everybody, right? So in this case, the doctor is, in this case, this doctor is is helping you. There's this. I'm watching Prison Break right now, and there's this thing from the AA, which is the nightmare of a doctor, and the nightmare of the doctor is he could have helped a patient, but by doing so, he was hurting him. In the end, he ends up not helping the patient. The patient dies, and it's his worst nightmare because he said, "Oh, I could have saved you, but I didn't. I chose to live you, to not hurt you, right? But you died." So, in the end, you know. So what I'm trying to say with that is maybe me making video in the morning isn't incredible, isn't a godsend, you know. But at the same time, if I perceive it to be so, then I perceive it to be so. And if I perceive it to be so, then be it. You know, it's not a question of what is conceivable. It's a question of what's unconceivable. If it's conceivable to wake up in the morning to make videos because you feel that this is the best time to do videos, and this is where you truly feel like you're most productive, then do it. Right? The inconceivable is if you force yourself to do something not healthy. When you look at me, okay, biggest problem in my life, right? Overweight. Force myself to eat delicious food. What a crime. Overworked. Force myself to work harder and harder. You died. Force myself to work harder and harder and harder. Right? To what avail? So like that's the word I love. Avail. To what avail? Did it really help? Anything that I worked so hard? And people will say yes, and people will say no. It's all the question of how you feel about it. How you feel about it. Do you feel that this is true? Do you feel that this is wrong? Do you feel like this applies or just doesn't apply? Then again, this is very important because look what I said, right? And again, excuse me, I'm tired. But it makes sense. What matter is what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, what is true, what is false. Something can make sense without being true, and something cannot make sense even though it's the truth. And even the truth in itself is completely fabricated. Every single truth in the world is fabricated. Because the question is fabricated, right? You see a turtle. A turtle doesn't ask itself why the sky is blue. A dog doesn't ask itself why the sky is blue. The dog doesn't even know the sky is blue because it's in black and white. A cat doesn't ask himself how come I can see in the dark and other people can't. They don't ask themselves that, right? So then even though a cat can see in the dark and the sky is blue, it's not the truth because if nobody's asking the question, then there's no answer, right? If nobody asking the question, there's no answer. The answer, which means that which means that the answer is non-reliant on the question because it pre-exists. That's insane. The answer doesn't rely on the question because it pre-exists. But if you think about that, you think about how the question is the question isn't the question. The question is the way to get the answer. Oh. Yeah? And it's beautiful. Mystery of life, right? What you believe to be right and what you don't believe to be right. It's just nuts. It's just nuts. of my father 2 days ago. He was getting mad because I was recording. I was playing the game and it was recording. Like, can't you just leave it alone? It's like you're addicted. I'm like, I'm working. Out of the three of us, do I seem like I'm having less fun? I'm still with you guys, but I'm working at the same time. You know? It is a complex. I think that the biggest strategy in life is you don't understand shit. You don't really understand life. When you do, you're too old to enjoy it. So to finish this video, because this is a long video already, if me being awake and me making videos this early is enough for me, myself, and I to enjoy it, then there shouldn't be an issue. And it's a beautiful thing because it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing when you think about it. Because all what I said, the last 26 minutes, don't matter. The only thing that this video matters is I feel like this is optimistic. I feel like this is what I want to do. Then do it, right? So, well, you don't need a reason to do something that you feel is right. You see somebody in a burning building. Did you run in to save them? The simple fight or fight answer. And this is also something that's important when you have this flight or fight answer. If you have a fight or flight, right, which is a response with a stressful event. Somebody pushed me, somebody insulted me. Am I running away from confrontation, or am I facing confrontation? With this, if it's your nature, we saw Prison Break yesterday again, and it was like, oh well, nature is, and this guy that said, nature versus nature is bullshit. It's hardwired in you, right? Nature is the thing that matters the most, and if you're a fighter and you're a fighter, you'll save people, right? But then possibly the reason that you're fighting people is a response to a stressful event. For example, this is stressful. I want to get out of this situation. I fight. I mean, this okay. It'll be the worst example, but there's this girl. This is fictional. I don't know her. I don't even know if she exists. She possibly exists, and it's possibly something that's happening a lot. She got raped, sadly, at a young age, right? She trusted someone, and now every single man is a bad guy. And every single one of the relationship are going to be hurt by it because she has a hard time opening up because of this past trauma, right? Or a heartbreak, and this heartbreak is going to be it's not going to allow you to enjoy a new relationship. What is the correct answer here? There's no correct answer. What is the correct answer? There's none. This trauma will teach you so many lessons, at the same time it takes so much out of you. And this is exactly it. This is exactly it. Like, for example, imagine that you have a heartbreak, right? And your heartbreak, it teaches you a lot. I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have done this, I should have done that, right? And it's extremely important because you're seeing that and like, okay, well, this is what I did wrong, this is what I did right, this is what I did wrong, this is what I did right. And you're oh my god. You're a better boyfriend because you broke up, right? And if you're lucky enough, you broke up with a girl that you really like, just like me. I broke up with a girl that I really loved. She broke up with me because of a shitty boyfriend, right? I was a shitty boyfriend. So then what I did, this is a horrible story. When I talk about regrets, this is what I talk about. Oh my god. I had this girlfriend, Leia, when I was 22, and I really loved her. I loved her more than I loved anything in the world. And I still haven't found a girl that I love that much, right? And with Leia, she had a lot of boyfriend, right? And with me, she was one of my first official girlfriend, right? And with Leia, what happened is I didn't treat her right. I was a dick to her. When she said something that I didn't like, I just ran away, and I wasn't calling her every single day. I was expecting her to just wait for me, and I don't know why. So she broke up because I was a shitty boyfriend, right? And then after Leia, I was destroyed for a year. Now, a year, I was unable to. I was depressed because of that, right? And it was horrible. And then after, I'm sorry, I'm watching again. This is such a beautiful game. And the worst thing is that I have one right in front of me. To go figure. We have 4 technically speaking. Oh, I don't see this one. This is not good because if I die, I'm not gonna be able to see. Oh my god. Biggest regrets, right? It took that breakup to change me. It took that breakup to motivate me to be a better boyfriend. After a year, I met this girl, right? Angeli. And Angeli was really nice. She was really nice. She was a good person. But I kind of used Angeli. Because I knew she liked me. And did I love her? No. But I went to fuck, right? Now, the reality is, Angeli, although it wasn't love at first sight, I fell in love with her. But it was weird. I was like, I'm not making those efforts with you. For you, sorry. You're helping me become a better boyfriend. But as soon as I'm a good boyfriend, I'm gonna try it back with my ex. Which is a fucking stupid thing to do. And then we broke up because she was like, hey, I'm getting feelings for you. Do you feel those same feelings? And I was like, I know that you've been feeling those feelings for a while. Me, it's only recently. So she thought that I was, and she was a really good person. She thought that I was saying this. You know this girl, right? That she tells you, hey, I love you. And you're like, I'm not there yet. And she's like, okay, no problem, I understand. And then she come back a month later and she's like, hey, I love you. And you tell her, well, you know what, I'm closer to loving you, right? And then the 3rd month she comes in and she's like, hey, I'm gonna leave you because I love you. And you don't love me. And you're like, no, I love you. And you do. It took you 2 months to do it, but you fall in love with her. And you do. And she don't believe you because like, oh, well, I'm leaving you and now you're in love, right? So it's weird. I really fell in love with Angeli, but Angeli, like, it was not fair because she was in love with me for 1 year. And I was in love with her for a month and a half at the end, I felt bad about that. The next girlfriend that I had, oh, she was horrible. It was horrible. I met her through dating website, and she catfished me. Yeah, she catfished me, which I wasn't mad about because I was like, okay, well, at that time I was really built. I was working out, right? Because I had nothing else to do. I was broke. I had my workout equipment, okay? And she catfished me, so I'm like, oh, I can't believe I got a catfish. But at the same time, I like, you know what? I don't care about how you look, right? We've been talking for 3 months. You're a good person. So we meet, and it goes really well. And her father's a really nice guy. Because he knows his daughter is kind of a shitty person. So he's super nice to me, right? And the first time we meet, it kind of goes well, right? And then she just becomes super mean. And the way she was treating me not bad, but she was treating her parent like shit. For example, her mom had drug abuse problem. Her mom was owing her money. And she called her mom and was like, hey mom, you owe me money. and you're a piece of shit. And I'm like, oh my god, how much does she owe you? They show me how much, and I'm like, that's not a lot. And I'm like, oh, are you having a problem with money? She's like, no, I'm okay. Then later in life, you get more mature and you understand there's a principle of somebody that's constantly telling you, I'm gonna pay you, but they don't pay you. That's shitty, right? Johnny was such a mean person. She was so mean. She was so mean. But at the same time, at the time, I'm depressed. At the time, I'm overweighted. I'm getting overweighted. When I first met Joanie, I was in good shape. I had a depression. I became overweight. And she was so mean. She was so mean. I never loved her. I never did. She came to my house. This is a true story. I can't believe I'm going to tell you that. She came to my house. After 2 months of talking, by the way, it was the first time we met, but after 2 months of talking, and she, her ex-boyfriend texted her, and she's like, this is, I hate to say this, but this is how much of a good person I am. She's texting her ex, and after a couple hours, she tells me, hey, I'm gonna go. And I'm like, is everything okay? She's like, yeah, no problem. There's no problem. I just gotta go. I said, okay. Maybe my apartment is not good enough for you, whatever the reason. And I'm like, oh, are you gonna call your parents for a lift? She's like, oh no, my ex is gonna pick me up. Your ex? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, yeah, you texted me before. And I'm like, we've been together for 3 months, okay? You're coming to my house, and then your ex is gonna pick you up. And I was really pissed because I'm like, you're such a piece of shit. I know that you're a bad person, but there's no way that you're not. There's no way that you're that bad of a person. But at the same time, I feel bad because I'm like, oh, you know, you're a shitty person, but. And then she tells me, okay, what, you want me to wait outside in this winter? I'm like, no, it's cold. You can wait inside. And then, guess what happened? Her ex used her for sex, and then she came back to me. And I was like, the amount of balls you have. But at the same time, I didn't love her. And I was also using her for sex. That's not true. I did love Joanie. Before we met, I loved her. When we met, I was like, oh my god. In real life, you treat people like shit, right? And it's kind of crazy because you don't really see those by text. You're texting one-on-one, right? So you don't see them in social environments. I remember the first date that we had, we went to get some fried chicken. And she goes, and we have some fried chicken. It was delicious. And she eats her fries. And after she's almost done with the fries, she goes to the cashier. And I'm close to the cashier. Well, not close as a person, but the table is close to the cash register. And she's telling the cashier, oh, a bee. I love bees. This. Oh, I want to catch it to show you. I used to be able to catch bees. When I was a kid, people at school because we were kids, right? Was afraid of bees. I would catch them and show them. Like, hey, there's no problem. Don't worry about it. Right? And I was afraid of the dark. I was afraid of dark in my life. Oh my god. I can't believe I'm going to talk about this also. We'll talk about it after. It's a really good story. It's a really, really good story. So, she goes in with the fries and she says, hey, my fries are fresh. And the cashier says, miss, you kind of ate most of your fries, right? She's like, yeah, I want some new one. And I remember hearing her scream. And she came back to the table. She said, hey, I got us some. She said, I got us some more fries. No, you didn't get us some more fries. You made a person that didn't deserve it, possibly a teenager working at a shitty job. You made her have a shitty day for fries. And she didn't. It didn't bother me that she was mad for fries. It bothered me that she didn't care about hurting other people. You're a shitty person, right? I didn't care about that. So why are we going with the exit story? The exit story is I was able to learn to be a better boyfriend, to learn to be a better companion, right? And to really be supportive. And I've learned that. But I haven't found a woman with who I truly was in love. So all of these lessons in life don't serve no purpose. Because I haven't found a woman with whom I've had a relationship since then, of course, but it was never like my first relationship, right? And that's pretty much it. Now, for the night story, we're gonna end the video because it's already a long video. The night story. The night story is one of my favorite story. When I was a kid, and I told you that before. I was afraid of the dark till I was 14, 15 years old. It's true. And it's so funny. Well, this is an amazing story. When I was young, my first time father, just like a boyfriend, like the first time boyfriend, didn't know. So he sent me to bed at 7:30, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to bed at 7:30. I'm the biggest gangster in school because my friends are going to sleep at 5 o'clock, right? And I grow up, and they grow up, and they go to bed at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I still have to go at 7:30. It's like, no, well, we wake up early. That's perfect. So the weight works. We were waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to school because my father worked at 6 o'clock. So you're sending me to bed at 7:30, right? I don't know if you're good at math, right? But 7 plus 4:30 equal 12. 4:30. And then you give me another 5 hours. So my father wanted me to sleep for 9 hours and a half. I'm hyperactive, bro. I don't sleep. So at first I'm turning it, and my brain is so bored. This is the 90s, bro. There's nothing to do. There is absolutely nothing to do. So I'm imagining, and then as a kid, I'm afraid of my father because my father's very strict. He was very strict. He's still strict, but I'm like, okay, Dad. He's very strict. I'm afraid of my father. So I cannot leave the bed because he told me to stay in bed. So I turn, and I'm afraid of the dark because my brain is so active, and I'm seeing nothing. I'm like, what am I supposed to imagine? There's nothing. So imagine there's monster, right? And I'm afraid of monster for hours upon hours because I can't go to bed, right? And then when it's midnight, I fall asleep, and I'm like, oh, finally. And then I became a bit more mature. I want to say like 12, 13, 14. And I'm like, fuck that. In the summer, this is beautiful. I have those binders. And my father has this obsession with cutting binders. He ruined a couple of mine at the apartment. And I went to cut this one. I'm like, you don't touch this one. These you don't touch. So what he did is, oh my god. My window is, let's say it's the size of the computer. It's not the size, but example. He cut the fences, he cut the binders, or what blocks the light, inches, half an inch, or maybe an inch more than you have to. So there's so much light going out. But then, I don't care because I'm reading. Every single night I'm reading. I'm listening to radio. And this is also the biggest reason. This is the most important thing. I shouldn't have done that, right? But at the same time, I learned a lesson, and I'm like, you know what? This is a shitty situation, but with a solution. And that's pretty much it. In all of these cases, I had to do something. With the ex-girlfriend, I had to be a better boyfriend because I was afraid of losing. See, I had strict parents, right? So growing up, I had this fear of not being good enough. But growing up, I was so immature. I wasn't self-aware enough to say, oh, you're not good enough. Like, oh, maybe my parents are strict, And then when my first girlfriend, the one I really loved, left me, I was like, oh, I'm not good enough. But at this time, you're 22, like, oh my god. My whole life has not been good enough, So you become better, right? And then like, well, I'm not gonna make effort for people that don't deserve the effort, which is, you know. And this is why I've been stable for a while. Like the ex that I had last year, right? Not last year. Well, it's gonna be last year soon. It was January, December, more December than January because it was my birthday, and she is my age, so she's mature, very mature. My last girlfriend that I had before, that I had fuck friend before, in between, right? My last girlfriend I was 24, 24 to 31, and then I have a girlfriend, and it's nuts. She's very demanding. I'm like, oh my god, this girl is so demanding. Why? Why is she so demanding? That is so odd. I never met somebody that's more demanding than her. But then she just knew what she wanted. Like, this is a really good girl. And then she was telling me, hey, you work. Now, she would get mad at me at stupid things. For example, she's like, hey, how many girls are you talking to? I make social content, so I talk to a lot of girls. Oh, I'm not happy. But the first time we talked, she was just like, what should I write to my Tinder bio? You know? And even though this is a worse injustice, I'm like, I'm really like this girl. So I made the effort. And at the end, I made a video where I smoked weed. And she's like, what kind of date to a guy that's doing drugs? The name of the video is Doing Weed for the First Time. Oh. You know? And then 3 weeks after, she's dating a guy. Now she's dating a guy, and he has a mustache and he has a hat. She would always say, hey, you have a nice mustache, you have a nice hat. So I'm like, okay. You know? But she's happy now, right? You want the best for her. You want the best. And the weirdest thing with her is, when she broke up, she's like, oh, I want to stay friend. And I'm like, no, I don't have time for friends. And she got really pissed at that, you know. But yeah, you learn to be a better person. And all of this is resuming to one simple answer. You really understand life when you're too old to enjoy it. As a curse of being mortal. I learned to be a good boyfriend when I didn't want to date. Anyway, I'm not gonna have videos. I love you guys. Take it easy. I was supposed to do Prison Break this morning. Whoopsies.